Greta Gerwig's Chronicles of Narnia is ramping up, and an insider now is saying that the adaptation is a train wreck. Now, anybody could have guessed this would be the case right away because of who's involved with this. It's the Netflix adaptation meme, right? You got the manga, you got the anime, and then the Netflix adaptation. Well, this is even worse because it's C.S. Lewis's masterpiece of fiction, something that is a beautiful work of Christianity that actually highlights the gospel better than anything else out there. Some excellent works that have stood the test of time. And unfortunately, we've got this weirdo feminist leftoid developing it for this weirdo feminist leftoid company, and we know it's going to be a train wreck. We've talked about it a little bit so far. Let's get into what's happening here in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all of the fantasy news, my friends. Narnia is a big deal, and gosh, I want Netflix to not adapt this. Please stop. Make it stop. Make it all stop. Honestly, Hollywood and the like, they get off on trying to destroy what you love, trying to destroy classics because they can't create. It's like Tolkien said, evil cannot create, it can only corrupt. And this is exactly what's going on right here. Evil cannot create, it can only corrupt. And they're going to corrupt the Chronicles of Narnia and try to destroy the real message of it, which is important. And that is the sad adaptation that we got going that we got to talk about. So please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here, guys. And please, I am a fantasy author as well. If you like great Christian fantasy, this is unabashed stuff with a strong male lead, with a fighting evil, classic fantasy ideals, this is the spot for you. Got real heroism and the like. I'm very excited to bring this to you. This came out a couple weeks ago. It's called The Demon's Eye, and it's available on ebook and print, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Thank you so much for being here, guys, and reading, and it's only $4.99. Check it out this weekend and start your read today. Okay. So, The Hollywood Insider, allegedly working on Greta Gerwig's Netflix production and adaptations of Chronicles of Narnia, describes the series as a train wreck. The OneRing.com host and J.R.R. Tolkien analyst Michael Grumbine shared an interview on the Trent Report that his insider is tearing his hair out while working on the production. So the One Ring's got there. What a great site, the OneRing.com, by the way, if you don't know. While discussing the latest reports that the Meryl Streep will play a sex-swapped Aslan. Yes, hold on, if you didn't see my video on that. It seems to have two different sources that Greta Gerwig is courting Meryl Streep to play Aslan, but make Aslan into a woman. This is the first bastardization, which is intentional because Aslan obviously is a representation of Jesus Christ, and because of that, they want to feminize that and destroy that. And this is exactly where the corruption begins every single time. It's all about the identities and the like. Oh, how stunning and brave to do this time. Not a good idea. And automatically, that just throws this out as a work. I mean, can you imagine watching this with that? And Meryl Streep, of all people, one of the craziest nut job leftoids out there. Of course they'd want to do this. Of course they'd want to promote that person in order to do this as well. So Grumbine said, I know someone who's working on the, I can't say much, Gerwig production, but he is tearing his hair out and trying his best as a Christian to help things. It's a bad scene inside. And that's the whole problem with Netflix and Gerwig and being involved with this. These are not Christians. This is a Christian work, and they're not going to be able to adequately adapt this because they just are not going to understand that the message is the premise in this. And so when you get away from that, the beautiful message of Christ's sacrifice and redemption and the like, and you're not going to be able to have a good movie here. There's a reason one of the kids' name is Peter, right? The Peter, the rock, the foundation of which the church is founded. I mean, it's important. Everything that C.S. Lewis did with this whole setting was intentionally built as a Christian, beyond just an allegory. I mean, it really was just a work to point towards Christ exactly. And he talked about that as well. Now, towards the end of the interview, he says it's a train wreck internally. Absolutely. So Netflix has not revealed much about the film. And if you, by the way, watch the Trent Report, great channel right here. And I definitely recommend subscribing there. So Netflix has not revealed much about the film. What we do know does not look good. Greta Gerwig directing the film is a major red flag, given she's made it clear she adheres to feminist ideology, creates films to push feminism. Case in point, she described her latest film, Barbie, as a feminist film. She worked for Disney's live-action Snow White film. So everything she's done has been in this direction of just pure evil every single time. Barbie was an utter train wreck, of course. I mean, it was just absolutely crazy what they were trying to push with that. Feminism is incompatible with Christianity, which C.S. Lewis made explicitly clear. His stories are meant to evangelize. Dale O'Leary explains from the beginning of the goals of feminism were clear: destruction of patriarchy, control of reproduction, including contraception, abortion, reproductive technologies, the destruction of father-headed family, divorce, illegitimacy made normal, all the women in the workforce, no man able to support his family, and free 24-hour day care, the destruction of all male institutions, total sexual liberation, including sex for children, homosexuality and bisexuality, and the destruction of the worship of God the Father. On top of hiring Gerwig, Amy Pascal is producing the film. She's claimed Gerwig's movies are a new take on Narnia. It's all about rock and roll. Now, we know when they go into these boomer takes, it's about rock and roll. We know that it's going to be going way off the rails. They're not going to do honor to the source material, not do honor to the lore. This is when you always run into problems with these things. Now, the psychology behind these people is very, very simple. They can't create, like I said, yet they're in these institutions where they're getting loads of money. They feel like they're super important, but they have this imposter syndrome as well. And so the only way they can actually do things and make it their own is to make it their own. And so they try to supersede the original work as if theirs will be better somehow, because they're trying to make up for their lack of talent here. And because of that, it gets into an endless cycle of these remakes and book adaptations that don't stay faithful to the books because they want to prove they can do it better, that they're the real writer there, that it's theirs. This isn't your Narnia. This is my Narnia. And it's very much a matter of narcissism right here. Aside from Streep, the cast appears dubious, with Daniel Craig having been offered a role, albeit it's unclear who he might play. Charlie XCX has also been offered to play the White Witch. Finally, recent rumors indicate that Netflix plans to adapt the films in chronological order, beginning with The Magician's Nephew, rather than the order they were written and published in, which is what most scholars and analysts recommend. So we see exactly where this is going. This insider saying it's a train wreck internally does not surprise me whatsoever. They do not understand things whatsoever, and I'm sure that this insider, if he tried to speak up, and I'm going to guess it's a he, would get fired immediately. And that's exactly what we hear at these sort of deals. I've had a insider at Skywalker Ranch at one point. They said the exact same thing, that if you're in there and you go to the boss and you say, hey, this is not the correct direction, it's not looking good, they just fire you immediately. These companies that do this, they have a culture of what's called toxic positivity, where you have to just bow to the vision of the person who's in charge here, who's always a radical leftist feminist who's trying to corrupt something like this. And if you don't, you're out. They blacklist you, and then you're not even going to ever get work again in the industry. That's what we've been fighting against so hard, both in movies, in books, and yes, the book industry is the same way, guys. Exactly. That's why we do things independently here. Comics, board gaming, they've taken over everything and made these litmus tests to do this, and that's exactly why Narnia is going to fail, because these litmus tests for the left are incompatible with C.S. Lewis's vision. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out the Demon's Eye Classic Sword and Sorcery Fantasy. Really appreciate you guys being here. We'll be back soon.